A conversation on the role of philanthropy in the black community will take place Thursday. The event's being sponsored by New England Blacks in Philanthropy. We'd like to welcome the group's president, Bithia Carter. Thank you very much for being with us again, Bithia.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Why have this conversation right now?
Oh, this is a perfect time to have this conversation. Our program is entitled Building Stronger Communities, and after the horrific events of Charlestown, this is a wonderful time to really think about our communities and how we can come together and work with each other. How do we build stronger communities that can really take on the challenges of the future?
Well, we've had philanthropies for a long time, and the big names at least, are not race specific. There are many niche philanthropies too, but why have a black philanthropy and why have it grow?
It's very important to have black philanthropy grow. Too often, as we had talked about earlier, a long time ago, we think of philanthropy as a white institution, a white male-dominated institution. When one says, oh, he's a philanthropist, I think they think of someone who's old, white, male, with millions of dollars. And what we know from our research and research across the country, philanthropy comes in all shapes and sizes. Not only all shapes and sizes, but most of our philanthropic dollars come from smaller donations that really serve to uphold our communities.
What about, of course, the other question here is if you're going to measure what's done by those mainstream philanthropies, how well do you think the community does by that?
Well, we have some stats that are not very good nationally. We know that less than 2% of philanthropic dollars actually go to black communities. And we're talking about the diversity of black communities. That's nationally. What we would like to know locally, what's going on here. I think most philanthropic institutions will tell you, of course we give to black institutions, of course we give to black communities, but we know the dollars are staggering when we look at dollars that go to arts institutions as well as dollars that go into research, universities that can be used to better target our communities.
Of course, the black community itself has changed. When I was growing up in Boston, it was a community in a few areas, almost entirely American blacks. Now, more spread out, more diverse. I think in Boston, actually, it's majority people from other countries now.
You're correct, and we're excited about that. As the demographics of the entire United States change and becomes more diverse, even white population, Latino population, and Asian, the black population is following the same suit. That's another reason we felt it was very important to have this conversation of not just how to build a stronger black community, but how do we build stronger communities, plural. As we look at recent immigrants, whether they're from Somalia, Kenya, Western Africa, the Caribbean, Brazil, we have to think about how they come into our country. What are the first things that they see, and how do we make sure that they're stronger, become stronger Americans in the future?
Tell us what you got planned for the conversation, because this is also going to be about how the community element figures in place with the state and in other foundations too.
You're correct. We're so fortunate to have Dr. William Bell from Casey Family Programs coming to talk to us. And too often when we think of family programs, and particularly the Department of Children Services, we think of deficits. And what we want to do is kind of flip that paradigm a little bit. We want to really think about using this as an opportunity to build communities of hope. They've actually created a wonderful document called the Declaration of Hope, and we're looking to that framework to better understand how can we better serve our communities. Also, Dr. Linda Spears will be joining us, who is the commissioner, recent commissioner for our Department of Children and Family. She will be joining us in this community. We have much to celebrate here in Boston and in Massachusetts, being number one on Annie Casey and how we take care of our children. But we know there's a long way to go.
Well, I should ask you for a little more clarity about who you want to see at this event, because whenever you use the word philanthropy, we think wealth, and a lot of people say, well, I'm not wealthy enough to be relevant here. So, but it's not as simple as that, I'm sure.
It is not as simple as that. We feel that we want people who are wealthy in spirit. Number one, people give donations, whether it's to their church, whether it's to their community organization, whether it's to their alma mater, we want them to think differently about that. We want to inform their giving so that they can go back home and really think about the impact and measure that impact so they can be part of a broader conversation.
And this is going to be happening exactly when and where?
Thursday at the Children's Museum at 6 p.m. on June 25th.
And if people want some more information about your organization, is there a way they can check that out?
Oh, yes. Please go to our website at nebip.org, and we not only have our information about our site, but other research to help inform people's philanthropic journeys.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Bithia Carter from New England Blacks in Philanthropy.